All right, my man. State your name. Let them know you on Nicovelli TV.
It's Big Rome on Nicovelli TV.
That's what's up, man. Straight out of Harlem.
Say
Got the
hello.
OG here. He's a Knicks fan. That's what I'm talking about, y'all. Y'all see that logo right there? Huh? That's what it's like when you live in New York and you move like you're a New Yorker. We're going to start off. Knicks fan. I know you are. Dressing the part. Who's your favorite player on the Knicks and why?
RJ Barrett.
Talk to me about RJ, baby.
Because he's ready to explode. You know what
Yeah?
I'm saying? And he does the job, but you know what I mean? We sitting waiting for him to just ready to just take over the league. Like, yo, he's ready.
You think he's eventually going to be that player to take it
Be
over?
that player.
Yeah? So you're not a little worried about him right now having a
No,
little
because
slump?
it's in his blood. It's not just go out and practice. It's just his mentality. It's how he thinks. It's in his heart, you know? I can't go out there and just go half, you know?
Yeah.
That's what I like. That's the type of players we need on the Knicks.
So are you telling me, sir, that you think eventually that RJ Barrett would be the franchise player
Yes.
over Julius Randle?
Yes. And that's not to say Julius, Julius going to do his job, but at some point, just Julius' energy is going to decline, and, he's going to, be more of a shooter, strong. But, RJ's energy is just going to take over, and his game is going to be right there with it. It's just going to mix. It's going to be all Harlem.
Okay. So let me ask you this, because,
Kimba out there,
speaking of Kimba, we're going to get to
Kimba.
Kimba, but let's go stick on RJ a little bit more, because he got snubbed for the Rookie of the Year. And I'm hearing the optimistic coming from you towards RJ. Was you upset when he didn't get the Rookie of the Year or Rookie First Team?
No, because RJ, the expectations on RJ was wild. They wanted him to come in as Michael Jordan and win everything right off the top. He was that good, but he didn't. You know what I'm saying? With those expectations, he overshadows your game. RJ, he was put. I think out of all the rookies, he put up the most triple doubles, or he was, in the top 2 or 3 triple doubles. And he was doing his thing the first year. The Knicks, we didn't have no team. He just, can't put it all on the shoulders right away.
All right. And moving right along, man. Now we're going to get to Kimba. We needed a point guard so bad, man. Some still ain't sold on Kimba being a point guard for the New York Knicks.
See, Kimba just got to, he's learning the system. As soon as he get out there and playing, he's out from like another one. It's in his heart. It's in his heart. He can't go out there and just, make himself look a fool. That's not what he do.
All right, so what do you say to those that criticize Kimba defense?
Kimba defensively, Kimba guy just got to go out there and work. Sometimes, he be banged up, he's hurt. 6 foot, it's hard. It's hard in the league for a 6 foot guard, point guard. You get banged up, and they do great jobs. Those, him, Curry, all them little guys, and they do their thing, taking care of their bodies. But, sometimes Kimba is banged up, and you can't go hard as you want to.
Right.
But when Kimba is, let me tell you, when he's home. So he's home, he's
right. So you said eventually he's going to get out the slump.
His body's now ready. He's not at home. And, when you're at home, when you go home at the end of the day, I drive trucks. So when you go home at the end of the day, sometimes it's you build a little bit better comfort zone.
Right.
Instead of when in different types of parts of the world every night. It's a difference.
Okay.
He's from New York.
Right.
His mother, his father.
Right. He used to live down the block from me. I'm from the Bronx, Monroe Projects. So I know exactly about Kimba. But moving right along with Kimba, man, do you think eventually he'll be able, this is the big question everybody is inquiring about when we speak of Kimba Walker. Will he be able to fit into Tom Thibodeau's defensive system?
Tom's system is built on physical condition. He works them boys, you could tell. That's why they, at the fourth quarter, you see other teams fall back. The Knicks is coming.
Right.
He's still in there defensively. So that's what it is with. That's all Kimba got to do. Stay up, stay on top, you know what I mean? Stay focused. And, the system itself is long-winded. So, fourth quarter, it's not just, first, second. Kimba get it together. Like I said, it's not just, I'm big as you, it's defensive presence, you worry, because I'm going to have a hand, I'm going to have a hand in there.
Right. All right, moving right along, my boy Mitchell Robinson. Now, Mitch. But right now, he's at the crossroad, too. Because even though Mitch came back bulked up, he still find himself on that injury prone.
Yeah, but he's, as I said, he's like 20, what, 23 years
Somewhere
old, something
around
like
that,
that.
man. I mean,
So, man, you know, boy, yo, he's learning to control his energy. He's learning to control his game. He's learning. The
yeah,
young
but
guy
do you
learning.
think eventually he might find himself in a situation with Kevin Knox? Because if he's always getting hurt and you got a player like Newell who's putting up them
Them
numbers,
highlight reels is gonna build his resume in the NBA. That's what's up with Mitch Robinson. He got to go back to his rookie season. Remember, he came known defensively his second year. His first year, it was all about the dunks on. He got this young boy coming in. You got to go back to the highlights and build a reputation around the league. And that'll help your offensive game will help your defensive game.
right?
It's just all about him learning,
Right.
growing up,
Right.
getting it together. He's gonna get it together.
All right. Now. I want to talk about the rookies. That's not getting no burn.
Yeah.
You got McBride. You got Jericho Sims. There's a few players that's just sitting. What's up with Tom Thibodeau? What's your output with that? You think he's making a grave mistake not playing these rookies, man?
No, because like I said, his scheme is physical conditioning. In NBA, you can't,
But these kids is young, man.
they're young and they got nice energy and they're gonna be strong one day. But you don't know, a 19-year-old going up against a 28, 29 LeBron, 34-year-old superstar every year. You know what I'm saying? That's just a different energy. It could affect how they, their game. Not being, because these guys can dominate games. So they go out there and they getting dominated. That could affect their mindset, their game. So they working it in. Yeah, all them guys is young. RJ is young. We just lost Frank, and he was young. You know what I mean? So
How you feel about that? Being that you missing Frank Ntilikina. I mean,
Frank, he was a good team. He's part of the team. He's a Knick. So we miss.
yeah, but he was a point guard. He was good on defense, and then some say that was even overrated with his D.
Yeah.
But you seen glimpses of him.
Yeah.
But as a point guard, he was only averaging what, 5 to 7 points per game?
Yeah, it was a project. It was a project. They felt they couldn't go no further, so they moved him to Dallas. I don't know, but he was a good guy to have in the locker room, on a team.
I agree with that.
Frank was,
Yeah, he wasn't complaining. He wasn't doing anything. He wasn't a locker room cancer.
character.
Yeah, and I feel the same way about Kevin Knox.
Kevin Knox, he's a shooter. He got a nice stroke. His shot, he can shoot. But he just got to, another one, got to grow up, get his mind focused. Because Kevin Knox type of shooter that could life at 30 a night, 30 at nights, had nights where he's putting up big numbers.
Do you think?
But he's real young. He's like 22, I think, 21, 22.
But he's not getting no burn either. And Tom Thibodeau gives that man garbage time.
Maybe his physical conditioning, he's not ready.
Well, according to what I'm hearing with Tom Thibodeau, it's what you do in practice, which reflects on what happens during game time. So whatever he's doing during practice is not sparking.
What? Like Tom Thibodeau, he runs what, 9, 10 man. I guess he's saying it's 10 guys that's better than you that work in my lineup.
All right. Are you big on Tom Thibodeau bringing them vets? Like we got Taj Gibson, he's familiar with.
You know what I'm saying? When it's working, you can't. It was working. They made the playoffs last year. It was the worst team in the world, in the league 2 years ago, and now they in the playoffs. So you know what I'm saying? What do you do? Go say, oh, coach.
Was you shocked by that? Like we was the 4th seed?
No, I wasn't shocked.
So you
and it
expected?
wasn't because it's so much. It wasn't so much. He was letting the talent, offensive talent. He was letting it develop, but it was defensive ethics, hard work. You know what I mean, on the defense, and that's what got him to the playoffs last year. And that's what's probably happening with these guys. That's not on the defensively. They're not. Maybe they're nice on the offensive end, but on the defensive end, they're not ready for that type of rotation, not to be thinking over. Like, when I go home and say, oh, this is my game plan. Maybe defensively they can't, they're not ready for what I'm trying to, strong ethics I'm trying to put on.
Speaking of the Knicks last year, the playoff bound 4th seed Knicks, led by Julius Randle. Do you think Julius Randle is the same player this year that he was last year?
Julius Randle is crisp. I was watching him. He's crispy this year. He's ready.
You think he's ready? Because some would differ. Some
Yeah.
would say that he slacked off and he's becoming more of an ISO ball player like Carmelo Anthony. That he ain't passing that rock.
Yeah.
Critters is singing
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
What's your intake on that?
Well, he's an all-star, so as an all-star now, you want to start to take more of an all-star stance on the team. So, if it's flowing, if it's working, if it becomes such of a problem where we losing, he's shooting bad, you know what I mean? Then you got to address it. But as long as it's working, how you gonna address it? He's doing his job. But what it is we got a new point guard with Kemba, so they just got to get it together as a team. Everybody want that Knicks team that they see walking. Oh, here comes the starting five walking down the street together. Like the Harlem Globetrotters. They want something like that, and that's what they got to gel into that type of team where they just together. A team. They look out for each other.
How long do you think it's gonna take for that to happen?
Hopefully he'll take it. Tom. That's why I like Tom Thibodeau. We work together on the defensive end. It's already happened.
Okay. And the backcourt duo, Emmanuel Quickly and Derrick Rose, man.
Yeah, D Rose, man. D Rose, we gonna really need D Rose in the playoffs. I'm talking about really. They gonna really need D Rose for all types of reasons. To step up and take a lot of pressure and. So, D Rose, he's more of a basketball player now rather than an athlete. So, but
Should he be made in the second unit or the first?
I like D Rose coming off the bench, but you know what I'm saying. And I like D Rose. I like him coming off the bench, and sometimes you see him in the starting lineup. I like him as that type of player. He's like how Doc Rivers was. Remember when Doc Rivers was on the Knicks? He was like a team leader, or like a coach on the team, on the floor coach,
Something like how Jared Jack was when he was with the Knicks.
Jared Jack was when he was with the Knicks.
What do you say to those who say that Kemba to come off the bench, like swap? Let Kemba come off the bench.
Nah, because the Knicks we still, again, a young team. We're a young team. We got a young profile, so. Kemba is has a stronger energy streak than D Rose. I think he's just more of the culture.
Right.
Even though I'm not, D Rose is. I like D Rose, like I said, having some firepower off the bench, having real firepower off the bench. That's what I like. That's what Knicks teams was. Knicks teams of the past that were successful. That's what they was. They had instant firepower off the bench. If you remember, John Stark started off the bench. Remember,
right, you're absolutely right.
He started off the bench.
And went from off the bench to that left-hand dunk on Michael Jordan, right?
Yeah.
That nobody want to talk about.
So we had, because he was like firepower off the bench. So.
Did you see the game between the Bulls and the Knicks yesterday?
No, I didn't see it last night.
Okay, I missed that too.
I didn't see it.
Nail in the coffin. My boy Obi Toppin. Do you like where he playing the center position? He's another one that.
No, not at the center. I don't like Obi at the center, but that's if you just running it up and down the court. But I like Obi Toppin. He works hard too.
Yeah.
He works hard, and I think next year is going to be his year. Next year, because he was a little older when he came in, so I think next year he's going to be he's going to be ready.
All right, man.
He can shoot that, but he got to make sure. He's starting to shoot that three, that long ball, so that's gonna help his game a lot. And like a Vince, hopefully he'll develop to a Vince Carter type player.
Yeah.
I remember Vince used to open up the court before he dunk on you.
Yeah.
Vince wasn't like Mike was just come on the court and just streak and bang on you.
Right.
Vince will open it up, shoot on you, hit you in the head.
So that's who he remind you of?
Yeah.
Not Stoudemire. A lot of people compare Obi to Stotty.
No, see,
Stoudemire
was like a tower. He remember Stoudemire was like 6'11" in his day. Like when he was young, he was 6'11". He was young. He came out of high school. So Stoudemire, I don't see it like Stoudemire. I don't see him like Stoudemire at all. I see him like a Vince Carter.
Yeah.
Because he was a player of the year. Vince Carter was a player of the year. You got guys. They kind of similar, the same. They both dunk on you.
Yeah. And the nail in the coffin right now, Tom Thibodeau, man. Is he working these Knicks too hard? Is Tom Thibodeau, the pros and cons of Tom Thibodeau? What you like about him, what you dislike?
Tom Thibodeau got hit the jackpot by coming to the New York Knicks, because the New York Knicks is not just basketball, as you see, for the past few years. We just been, sometimes it was all about the Knicks, these Knicks hats, these Knicks shirts, and it was the Knicks colors, and it was, because we was the basketball team wasn't doing much, but
So you like Tom
I
Thibodeau
like
as a
Tom
coach?
Thibodeau. I like Tom Thibodeau as a New York Knicks coach. I'm not sure in certain other teams he may, I don't know, but as a New York Knicks coach, I think he's good. You know what I mean? Because they're working in now. Go hit the nightlife. As to a certain, he keeps a discipline over him,
All right, and that's what it is,
big
man.
things is coming for the Knicks because we're a young team, so big things is coming as we develop in the league. We get a understanding of other teams, going, to get experience and have 4 or 5 years in the league. We'll be ready.
And that's what it is. I want to thank the OG for coming down to speak to Nicovelli about these New York Knicks, baby. Nick Chronicles as always, baby. And we out. Peace.